Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Alvin. I'm a young astronaut. I'm 8 years old. I'm here to talk about the solar system. What is the solar system actually? The solar system is a place where all the planets orbit around the sun. The solar system, you can see stars there and constellations where there are animals and things you can draw with stars. The solar system, there is no oxygen. You have to be an astronaut and wear a spacesuit like me. The solar system consists of planets that orbit around the sun. If without the sun there will be no heat, there will be no light, plants could not grow, water would freeze, nothing could survive. First up is Mercury. Mercury is the smallest planet in the solar system, much smaller than Earth. It's one of the brightest stars you can see in the solar system. It might not look like a planet, but it's a bright star. But it looks like a bright star, and you can see it many days at the horizon, at sunset or sunrise. Mercury is not my first spot of a vacation. It was because the temperatures are boiling hot and freezing cold in the shade. Next is Venus, the second planet. Some people call Venus Earth's sister because the two of the planets are both in size and gravity, but they are very different in surface. First, it's very hot. Venus is the hottest planet in the solar system. It's not as close to the sun as Mercury is, but its thick atmosphere of carbon dioxide helps it trap the heat and stay warmer than its neighbor. Venus might be a bit fun to visit, but it's beautiful to look at. It's the second brightest object you can see in the night sky. If you're looking at the sunset or sunrise and you probably see a bright star, you're probably looking at Venus. After Venus comes Earth, the third planet. Some people call Venus Earth a Goldilocks planet because it's not too hot and not too cold. Earth is the only planet that has life because if you're now, I'm on Earth and I have life. Earth is the first planet that has one moon. It orbits around the Earth like the Earth orbits around the Sun. So the fourth planet is Mars, a red planet. Because they call it the red planet because iron oxide, a material like rust, in the soil gives it a reddish color. Mars is also the cold desert. There is water ice on Mars. Scientists believe astronauts can live there. Right now there are two robots specializing and analyzing on Mars. Mars is the second planet to have its own moons. Only has two moons. They might be big and round like our moon. Mars's moons are small and irregular moons. Scientists think they are made captured asteroids. Maybe they came from the big asteroid belt that is between Mars and Jupiter. An asteroid belt is a big ring of asteroids that orbit around the sun, like all the planets orbit around the sun. After Mars comes Jupiter, the fifth planet. Jupiter is something called a gas giant because it's made of gases and it's big like a giant. Jupiter has at least 67 known moons, some as big as Earth's moon and some as smaller. Only 57 are smaller. One is big and one is bigger as Jupiter. One planet, Io, is Jupiter's moon. It might be erupting lava. Scientists believe that some microorganisms shoot from Io into its magnetic field. But anyway, leave that. Jupiter has Jupiter. If there was no land, there is no land on Jupiter. Even if there was land to land on, Jupiter is covered by huge storms. One of the storms is known as the Great Red Spot because that's what it looks like, and it's going on for at least 300 years. Next is Saturn. Saturn is the least densest planet because if you just find a bathtub big enough to put Saturn in, it will float instead of sink. Saturn has rings and it has at least 16 known moons, some as large as a mountain and many smaller. Saturn has some rings made of rocks, ice, and dust. Saturn has 7 main rings. After Saturn comes Uranus. Uranus is something known as an ice giant because it's composed of much ice and gas. Uranus has lot of methane gas around it that gives it its bluish color. Uranus also has rings, but thinner than Saturn's. Uranus also is the seventh planet from the sun. That's why they call it the ice giant, because it's farther from the sun. After Uranus comes Neptune. Neptune is the eighth and farthest planet from the sun, much farther than Mercury. Because Neptune is far from the sun, it takes a long days for Mercury to orbit around the sun. Remember, Mercury takes 88 days, but poor Neptune takes over 165 years. And the last time the scientists saw Neptune was the American Civil War, when cars, phones, and airplanes were made. You may think I've forgotten someone. Pluto. Pluto is the ninth and smallest planet, smaller than any planet, moon, asteroid, or comet. It might be small like but not small like a comet. Pluto is a dwarf planet. Sometimes I nickname Pluto dwarf rock, because it's a dwarf planet and it's not a rock. At least you can know. So Pluto is not the only dwarf planet. There are at least 5 dwarf planets, like Pluto, Makemake, Aries, Juno, and Quato. In between Pluto, Makemake, and Aries, there is something called a Kuiper belt. I might not know about the Kuiper belt, but you can just leave those 5 dwarf planets behind. That means you leave with 8 primary planets: Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Thank you for watching me to this today. Goodbye till next time. Bye.